What is going on, everybody? ZachRC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode number 5 of the F1 22 Road to GOAT Career Mode series. And welcome to a race, the prospects of which might just be keeping me up at night. Full wet Monaco in the worst car on the grid. 39 laps of this soaked Monaco Harbour Street Circuit. Either that or I will give myself a headache trying. So looking forward to getting this one underway as we always do. Starting towards the back of the grid on the back row in P19. With Lance Stroll's Aston Martin alongside us. There's Yuki Tsunoda. And there's the Drivers' Championship for you. Leclerc leads by 11 points to Sainz and 15 to Hamilton. There we are in P19. Hopefully try and make up some places, but it's very hard to overtake in Monaco. So we might have to try our luck on the first lap and see what we can do. And there's Mick Schumacher starting in 14th. So looking forward to seeing how he can do in the race as well. So here we are on the grid, ready for the start of the 5th race of the season here in Monaco. I am really, in a way, not looking forward to this one as much as I do. There's your strategy change. It can be simple. One stop, wet tyres for wet tyres. I'm going to keep the fuel around 40 laps or so, just in case. So without further ado, let's get this one underway. Deep breath in now as the 5 lights come on one by one. It's the Monaco Grand Prix here in the rain. It's lights out and we are underway. Decent getaway compared to Stroll on our left-hand side. We're going to move over to the left, try and cover him off on the run to turn 1. So try and cross us over back to the inside. So we'll be on the outside now going into turn 1. We can't gain anything with Vettel and Magnussen both there in front of us. We may be forced to drop back. We get better traction through the first corner and stay in front of Stroll for the time being. So nothing gained from this first corner, but nothing lost at the same time, which is crucial. Magnussen already getting away here. We have to use the braking zones to our advantage to try and stay with the rest of the pack there. We don't want to drop back this early. And try and make a move on Magnussen if we can, going down into the next right-hander. See how much sprays we kicked it up from the amount of cars in front of us. We're going to dive to the inside of Magnussen. We're going to take Vettel as well. And it's our teammate Alexander Albon going 3 abreast to the corner, trying to pass both Zhou and Schumacher. And he'll get both cars as well. Yellow flags through the Lowe's hairpin. Everyone's going so slowly. We've got past both Zhou and Schumacher ourselves around the outside. Bit of contact with the Alfa Romeo. Managed to make it work though. And we're up into P15 now. So in terms of positions, we've gained 4 places off the start, so that's absolutely brilliant stuff. We're now chasing our teammate, Alexander Albon. So like I say, absolutely great start to this Grand Prix. We have to keep on our toes because Zhou's right there behind us. See if they can make a move going into the left-hander, into the chicane. He goes very late on the stop, but almost gets around us there, almost really keeps alongside. But we managed to squeeze him out through the chicane, and we're still holding on to that P15 position. But as we come down the main straight to begin the second lap of this race, Zhou's all over us, and try and look to the outside at turn 1. They're just about to shut the door on him, going into the corner. Albon's already 2 seconds clear of us, just to show you how slow we are compared to everyone else. Wet Monaco really is the best track for this car, but Albon's doing quite well with it himself. Pushing on quite further onto the race now, lap number 8. We've kept Zhou behind us for a good first stage of this race. We've got a yellow flag there down at the end exit of the chicane going into the 3rd sector. And that's one of the Alpines by the looks of it. Not quite sure who that is. We're sure we'll get a message in just a moment as we keep Zhou behind, and Schumacher's about a second back from him as it stands. The green flag's now back out over in this sector. We'll have to see who it is now who has retired from the Grand Prix. It's Alonso, and for the 2nd time in 3 races, the Spaniard out of the Grand Prix due to what looks to be a technical failure. We'll be able to see his car there in the chicane, and there he is stopped, stricken at the side of the track. Unsure as to what's gone wrong for Alonso, but that does put us up another place into P14 now. So let's have a look at what's happened here with Fernando Alonso. He's running quite hard from the audience in the point-to-paying positions in P7, I believe. And as he makes his way out of the chicane, you just see a huge puff of smoke coming from the back of that Alpine car, and that's nasty. That's a nasty-looking technical failure. You can barely tell what's smoke or spray. He pulls over to the side of the track in the chicane. Well, there goes Ricciardo around the outside. I think he had to cut the chicane off a little bit there. And Alonso now pulling over the side of the track to bring about the first retirement of this race. So that brings us up another position. So in our case, that's good, but unfortunate for Alonso here. So he pushed on to the end of lap number 8 now, just a couple corners later. Zhou going on the offensive once again, looking to the outside. He's about half a car in clear of us, but we've still got our foot in there. Foot in the door to make our way into turn number 1 on the inside. Got to squeeze him on the exit, and no contact made when we get the job done, which is always important. So holding on to P14, but Albon really getting away from us here. As we come on once again, Zhou going for round 2, looking to the outside. We're trying to squeeze him just a little bit more towards the wall, give him a bit more room if we can. And into turn 1, it's the same old story. We've still got our foot in the door, and there goes Schumacher trying to make a move around the inside on Zhou, who got all out of shape going through turn 1. Didn't quite see us slamming the door on him, didn't quite see it coming. But I think Zhou managed to hold on off for the time being. So it's been a very defensive start to this Grand Prix. Coming on to the end of lap number 11, start of lap 12, Zhou, not the best of runs this time. Doesn't try and go 3 for 3. We keep him behind him for the for the 3rd successive lap in this Grand Prix, in this little chase. So as of right now, not doing too bad. P14 in Monaco, where it was difficult to overtake. And we're still there on lap number 17 of this race. And we're coming towards our first pit stop of the Grand Prix. This is going to be our in-lap here. And the track's dry enough for us to be able to go onto a set of intermediate tyres, which always help us go a little bit faster. We hit the wall slightly there. Bit of front wing damaging curve. We'll still have to keep going regardless. Zhou still there behind us. He is absolutely relentless, refusing to give up, trying to get around as quickly as he can. Of course, our car is quite slow compared to everyone else, and our tyres are hitting the cliff. And Lando Norris is out of the session, our second retiree in this Monaco Grand Prix, and that then guarantees that we will now finish, no matter where we finish, we will finish higher than we were where we started. That's called a successful weekend in my book. Norris, though, out of the Grand Prix, and I think it may have been the same sort of issue that got Alonso earlier on the race. You can see the smoke pouring out the back of that McLaren. He's got Charles Leclerc along just behind him, so looking to make his way around the Brit there. There goes the Monegasque up into another position. And Norris, though, slow and pulling the car over at the runoff area into the final corner. And we're gonna come across him. We'll just see him just about in the distance as we're coming to make our first stop of the race. There he is on the left-hand side of your screen. We come into the pits for our first stop. It's been a decent first stint so far. Going on to some intermediate tyres, so we're on a bit of a crossover here between the wets and the inters. We're going to go on the inters. I think everyone else is going onto them as well. I know Sebastian Vettel did. He came into the pits about a lap or two ago. So into the pit lane now. 2.7 second stop from our Williams crew. The intermediate should go to the end of the race, or they will go to the end of the race. We'll have to do about another 22 laps on them or so. We'll come out of the pit lane here. There goes Vettel charging past into P17. We're down to 18th place now, the last of the running cars. As we make our way through turn 1, we've gone too much on the throttle, and we have crossed the pit lane exit at the white line, so we have a bit of a warning for that, so that's unfortunate. We keep going though, and on to the end of lap number 18 now. For Schumacher and Zhou both in the pit lane. We get around both cars here, and we should see a few more cars coming to the pit soon. I know Stroll is yet to pit. He's still on those wet tyres. We've gained another 2 places, so we make our way back up the hill, back into P16, and Stroll and Magnussen now in the pits as well as he comes to the end of the lap. But Schumacher all over us here. He's going to go to the outside, similar to how Zhou's been trying. And we're lucky no one came through on the right-hand side of the pit exit there. We'll go over the curb once again. We're really pushing at track limits today. But Schumacher still hanging with us, dissimilar to what Zhou did. And Schumacher gets around us, the German, into P14 now. So he's made the best of that situation. And now he's up a position from us. He may be able to escape from this little train that we've been running throughout this entire Grand Prix. As we got to the end of lap number 20 and the start of lap 21, Zhou looks to the outside. You see Schumacher has pulled away. We squeezed Zhou a lot more this time. And once again now, we're still there. Going to try and shut the door on him, but he's still alongside us. It's deja vu from the last lap as Zhou gets around us after a long time waiting behind us. He's finally managed to get the job done. We're going to peek up the inside, but thinking back to Spain, not going to go for those risky moves, especially on a wet track like this. It was worth it in Spain, perhaps not so much worth it now. And now we're down to P16 with only Magnussen and Stroll behind us, the last of the running cars. On to lap number 24, and we are still being hounded by the Dane and the Haas. And there he goes around the outside, looking to make it work through the tunnel. We're yet to battle someone in here in the tunnel. We're going to go late on the brakes into the corner, see if we can still make it out in front of him. We're very late, have to avoid this yellow sausage go as best we can. We're squeezing Magnussen, but he gets around us here. And there's Hamilton behind us. Blue flags are out for the first time in this race. And there he goes, charging past, and Magnussen has gotten away with this. So regardless of when he lets Lewis through, he should be in front of us for the duration here. So that's another spot we've lost, unfortunately. And Stroll now the last car behind us. I honestly think that if we do if he does end up passing us, then we will just retire the car and save the engine for the later races. Of course, that will be crucial to start changing components out for that soon. There's still blue flags behind us. There's George Russell in second place. The Silver Arrows with a 1-2 at the moment. They're doing a brilliant job here. I think Hamilton's on course to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship. None of the Ferrari drivers on the podium as of right now as we begin lap number 25. There goes Russell around our outside up the hill, and Stroll trying to follow him through. We're going to give him the space, and he almost gets completely away from us. We're still on his outside, going around that long sweeping left hand. A bit of contact, he tapped the wall a bit. We're squeezing him again. We're still going at it here, and as we make our way out of that first sector, it's still us just keeping it in front of Stroll. We've managed to have Verstappen behind him now, so we've got to move over to let him through. We're going to try and go for it here, but Verstappen just isn't taking that chance. The AI not really going for it as much. As we go through the Lowe's hairpin, we've gone all the way around the outside. A bit of contact. We've lost a bit more of our front wing. And Verstappen finally going around the outside. Now that job's done. And there's Perez behind us. This blue flag fest isn't quite over yet. And Stroll is still there behind us. Perez is going to go through. We're going to move over for both of us. And now we're battling Stroll once again. No more threat of blue flags behind us, apart from those two Ferraris, which are quite way behind us. And going into the chicane once again. Stroll was still keeping it at bay here. We've gone very wide there. and it is looking very bleak in this race. Poor exit. Stroll looking around the outside. I'm going to brake here, and we've got to let him through for the left-hander to avoid crashing into him. We've hit the wall again, and that's more front wing damage. So this race has really fallen down the toilet here. So unfortunately, I think there's nothing else to do for us to retire from the race. We are clearly one of the slowest cars on the track, if not the slowest. So it's going to come down as our second retirement in 5 races.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners.
So this Monaco Grand Prix ends then in a Mercedes 1-2 with Lewis Hamilton taking his first victory of the season, and with it, the lead in the Drivers' Championship thanks to the slightly poorer finishes of the 2 Ferrari cars, Leclerc and Sainz. Russell comes home in second to complete the 1-2 finish, and it's the reigning champion Verstappen home in third, unable to defend his Monaco crown. So brilliant race for Mercedes. Unfortunate for us. Let's just keep on pushing though and try and get those results in the next race.
Let's see how the drivers' standings have changed. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today, as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula 1, so be sure to join us for the next one.
So that is it then. There are your final results. Hamilton wins, Russell second, Verstappen third, Perez fourth, Sainz in fifth, Leclerc sixth, Ricciardo seventh, Gasly eighth, Bottas ninth, and Ocon in 10th. Albon came home 12th, and we go down as a DNF in 18th place. So unfortunate way to end things. However, we did gain 1 place from all this, and I said I'd go as far as I could into this race, and I still stand by that. So unfortunate, but we were the slowest car on the track at the end of the day, so we move on. Hamilton now takes the lead of the championship, as I've said, by 2 points now over Leclerc, so it's very tight at the top. Verstappen and Sainz tied in 3rd place. Perez just 7 points back from them, and Russell 4 behind, so 22 points covering the top 6. That's a very tasty start to the season, and Mercedes jump into 2nd place to Constructors, but Ferrari still lead the way by just 9 points. They have to get their act together in Baku, which will be the next race, and we're still 9th in the championship. So with that then, that is the end of this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, then make sure to like, share and subscribe. The next race will be the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which always serves up chaos in the F1 game. So looking forward to that. Make sure as always to like, share and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And until then you guys, until my next video, I shall see you later. Have a good one everybody. Goodbye.